Does this look familiar?
No.
Oh, marked it.
What? Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That should remind you of every single time you ever faced me in multiplayer, muchacho.
I know. But that's because I actually spend my time working rather than playing till I get good.
Hey, if you listen really close, I think you can hear the ice creaking.
Yeah, and the snowflakes actually hitting the ice.
Uh-huh.
Every detail is in this game.
And the cool thing about, well, I mean, this is just cool, right?
This is totally cool.
I'm sort of mesmerized by it. Take that, dang!
Yeah.
And actually, the first
And the
time I saw
ghosts
this, the
coming
ghosts
out, that
actually
is
coming
so
out
cool.
of the thing. That's great.
The physics are really fun to work with. So when we actually attach sounds and they work with the actual physics of the environment, that means the sounds do things that we weren't even planning on them to do once you start working with them in the environment. So as the hovercraft gets nearer and further away and bounces, the sound actually responds. And crash, there you go. The sound of metal crashing into metal.
What you're saying, Marty, is it's all about putting the puzzle pieces into place and then just letting the player go.
Letting Jason Jones make it happen.
There you go.
He's the man.
There you go.
See, I know who's to kiss. Oh, sorry. And there's the tank that looks broken, but it's not. See, because he starts it up. And working on engine sounds for these things is also a blast because the engines, you can tell exactly what's coming at you from behind. Something's coming at you from behind. You can tell some little creature walking up to you or some huge tank driving up to you. You don't even have to see it.
A lot of the time in Halo, when you're going through these big environments, we are built-in moments of transition. This, though we haven't created the cinematic for it yet, is going to be one of those situations where you come into a new environment that's huge and massive, and you want to show it in third person and figuring out a way to pull back and say, hey,
This is how big.
this is how big and cool it is.
Kaboom!
Hi, so my name's Alex Seropian. I'm a founder of Bungie.
Hi, I'm Hamilton Chu. I'm producer on Halo.
This is Halo. We've been working on this game for, a little over 3 years now. This is a project we started after Myth of Fallen Lords came out. And it's evolved a ton in that amount of time. It started as it was a really small team of a couple of engineers basically working on some technology that they were going to use for an RTS game. And at some point in those early stages, they wanted to go back to some of our Bungie roots, like Marathon, and started working on what they could do with combining some of the stuff we learned on Myth with some of the action elements of a game like Marathon. And that was sort of the first part of Halo's evolution. In the years that followed, a lot of things happened where, like recently we got acquired by Microsoft, so we had an opportunity to refocus and move from the PC world to the console world, which is something we've been interested in doing for a long time. That's had a real profound effect on the way we think about the game, and the way that we design the game, and a lot of the decisions that we've made recently. It's really given us the opportunity to focus on making the game graphically really rich and play really well. I think it's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff we've learned along the way too with process. This is definitely the biggest team that we've ever had working on a game. It started off, like I said, really small, and it now encompasses all of Bungie.
Like Alex said, this is by far the largest team and project that Bungie's ever done. But the story in Bungie games, the story has always been a really big thing for us and something that our fans really appreciated. So it's always a big part of everything we get into. And I think we used it to a really good effect in our first level.
Yeah, speaking of effects, you see the sun coming through the trees right there?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think everybody else in their commentaries have talked about how cool that is.
But did they talk about Bernie? Because Bernie did that. Jason
Yes.
calls him the little monster. He's just a coding maniac.
It's all about having coding maniacs.
You know,
really
we had a
helpful.
party last week at Jason's house. Bernie showed up with his laptop and he coded the whole time.
That's part of why we like Bernie so much.
That's what makes him a little monster.
That and the food he eats. There's some more cool effects. So this is A30, a level that Marcus Leto did, our art director. It's really cool. The outside vistas in Halo, I think they're among the best that I've seen in any game.
As are the interiors that we're seeing here. These are pretty cool as well.
This one's done by Chris Barrett.
That's pretty cool because Chris didn't actually start off working on Halo. He was working on a different project.
That's true, but we're really glad he did some stuff for us because this man, this interior stuff and the snow outside stuff that you see later, it's all crisp, and it looks cool. And it's really different from the other stuff we've done.
It's very different.
So it really added some good variety and showed us some stuff that we could do with our engine that we didn't know before. Looks like we're running through all the weapons here. The weapons were designed by Rob McLeese.
Rob was actually one of the first people that we hired at Bungie. He's been here for 6 years. He's really into guns.
Yeah, and he just got married, which is kind of weird.
He married somebody who works here too.
Yeah.
A woman, Lorraine.
Yes, we have a woman.
She's married though.
Yes, yes. And now it looks like we're running through the characters here. Here's the Jackal. A while ago, you could shoot through his shield pretty easy, but then we made his shield really fairly impenetrable.
Yeah,
that made it really nasty.
That's a stealth lead.
Man, that stealth effect's really cool. That's Bernie again.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah, Bernie did a lot of the cool shaders that are in the game. This hunter character is really cool.
He's got these spines that they'll twiddle when he's nervous. And he's got this cool neck that you can see when he dies.
He's got a real soft spot on him. You could actually kill him one shot with the pistol
shot in the back. Bink.
But that's not to say he's a wuss or anything, because he
No.
could kill you real
Like
easy.
this.
Yeah.
Boom.
So this was sort of some of the outside stuff that Hamilton was talking about. Chris Barrett did. I was gonna say, like, that's one of the cool things about Bungie is we've got this real open environment, and like we can grab somebody like Chris Barrett and Dan, who are both working on different projects, and we can sort of enlist them into Halo, and they can contribute in a really important way like this. That's really cool. Damn, snow is cool.
Yeah, maybe we should actually talk about what's going on the screen.
The story in our games have always been really important, and like when we decided to announce the game, basically we tried to tell a story with a cinematic. That's when we went to Macworld and Steve Jobs sort of unveiled Halo for the first time. That got us a lot of mileage out of that trailer that we did for that announcement.
I guess you're getting to see a lot of the vehicles here. Vehicles are a pretty fundamental part of Halo. I feel like it's what adds a lot to the whole first-person shooter experience, and it adds a lot to your combat experience.
Really makes the game unique. That's one of the things that we've tried to do in all the games that we've made. Like if you look back through our gameography, like, you know, Myth really was the first strategy game that had real 3D in it.
Yeah, something that you referred to before with the engineers and the artists working closely together. I think it's worth talking about that again. I think that's really a big part of why our stuff can look so good, is because the artists and the engineers really do talk to each other a lot, and more than that, they each understand the process that the other party is going through, and the issues that the other party is dealing with, and that really lets them do a lot. The artists understand the tools such that they can take it farther than the engineers envision it going, and the engineers understand the artist's needs so that they can come up with new tools for them to use that the artists wouldn't have suggested themselves. So a lot of the cool effects that you see here is a lot of different things working together, the shaders and the light maps and the bump maps.
Do you know we did Marathon with like 5 guys?
Is that so, really?
Yeah.
5 guys. And is that including you? Because then it's really like...
Yeah, watch it. Thin Ice, Hamilton.
Hi, I'm John Howard. I'm lead game designer on Halo.
And I'm Jamie Griesemer, and I'm a designer.
And we're just going to talk to you a little bit about what's going on here, why we think this game is fun, why it's cool.
So these scenes are all from the first level, which is also the tutorial. So what you have right now is the technicians that woke you up from cryo sleep are teaching you about your energy shields and helping you figure out your controls, and it's all done within the context of the story, so it's a smooth transition. And it also doesn't last very long because almost immediately things go bad and the Covenant start attacking and they start killing off the people who are trying to help you, and then you're kind of on your own.
Yeah, Jamie has a good point. We wanted to get you right into the action, right into the game, so what really feels like a training, what feels like, oh, this is how you use the game, only really happens in that first part, but throughout the first mission, in fact throughout the entire game, there's always that stuff going on because there's so much stuff to do in Halo, because you can drive vehicles, because you can walk around stealthily, because you can use so many different weapons, so many human weapons, so many Covenant weapons, and there's so many different types of environments, so many different types of enemies that you're always constantly learning. So even at the end of the game, there's always new stuff going on.
So throughout this mission, As you're progressing through, the ship is taking more and more damage, and your screen will shake more often, and things start falling and exploding, and eventually the ship is just coming apart at its seams right before it crash lands on Halo.
Yeah, one of the things that's going on in this mission is the Covenant, this superior alien race who's been chasing humanity through the galaxy and destroying all of our civilizations and outposts, has come upon the ship that you're on, the Pillar of Autumn. And your goal is to get the shipboard AI, which knows the location of Earth, which is the most valuable piece of information the humans have, to take her and to get her off Halo. So you guys escape in an escape pod like this one and crash land somewhere on Halo. And the first part of the game is about finding the rest of the human survivors and getting them with you. So you have all sorts of cool Marines and people to have combat with.
And this is your first actual glimpse of Halo. We wanted to show the coolest parts of Halo first, and so we've got the 1,000-foot cliffs and the incredible sky with the ring up there in the distance. But almost immediately, before you really get a chance to sightsee, the Covenant are on top of you.
The vehicle you just saw there is a Covenant dropship, and one of the challenges we face is obviously we do interior environments and we do exterior environments. One of the challenges with exterior environments is unless you populate the whole exterior with bad guys, you need a way to bring in more bad guys. You can't have guys running over the terrain for 45 minutes coming to finally reach you. So human dropships and Covenant dropships are a way for us to reinforce a battle from either side and to mix things up and to surprise you as you go through the game. And it makes stuff a lot of fun. So here's one of our friends, another one of the Covenant. This is the Grunt, who is affectionately cannon fodder. We're gonna waste a couple of them here, waste a couple of elites with the turret.
Now you saw the elite was trying to get in that turret himself, but then the player jumped in and used it against him. That's one of the themes in Halo, is taking enemy weapons and using them against them, effectively or ineffectively.
That's right. It's like taking your little brother's hand and making him hit himself with it. It's a lot of fun. So one of the things that obviously Halo's a game about combat, a game about shooting, a game about explosions, a little bit of song and dance, a lot of human weapons and a lot of alien weapons. One thing we really wanted to do with the weapons in Halo, we didn't want to make, most games have a scale of weapons. Every weapon is better than every other weapon. That's not true in Halo. In every situation, there's always an ideal weapon. It may not be the one you're carrying right now, but every time there's a place, the last mission in the game even, in places in later missions, and all the time in multiplayer, where you're like, oh, geez, I wish I had the pistol, or I wish I had the enemy plasma rifle. Always there's a situation where you want different tools.
And you can definitely see the different personalities in this situation. The cool stealth elite is just calmly surveying, and the grunts are kind of running around and being a little hectic, and then the giant hunter is just kind of watching for his next opponent.
Yeah, the hunter is still truly scary. Haven't worked on this game for a long time now. The hunter is someone I still truly fear for many reasons. Man, you see we're just laying into him right here, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. He's gonna whip our ass. So this is again outside. This is actually a beautiful environment. One of my favorite environments, this snow environment. Taking care of a little business with the elite. We're back to the Marines here. You want to talk about that, Jamie?
One of the things we really focused on in Halo is combat with the AI and not just against the AI. So you can see the Marines are helping you out. Sometimes you follow them, like you saw from the first mission, and sometimes they follow you and try to help you achieve your objectives.
So obviously more weapons, sniper rifle, the ice. Actually, one of the cool things with all these different vehicles is you pick up like something like the Ghost or the Warthog, which is the human Jeep with the chain gun on the back. You load the Marines into that. They're whooping ass. You hit across the ice. You take too hard of a turn. You slide into a wall and tumble the vehicle, and they all go flying out. And then the AI, the Marines, are smart enough to go, hey, I need to be back in that Jeep. And as soon as you right the Jeep, they get right back in it with you. This is
an example of the enemy using vehicles against you. That's a mortar tank, and this is a Covenant dropship, and it's just dropped 2 Covenant Ghosts, and they use vehicles extensively. And a lot of the fun of the game is to take that charge of the vehicle and take the guy out that's driving it, and then steal it yourself.
If we weren't pasting that guy with a rocket launcher, if we would have just hit him with a grenade and sort of glanced him and flipped the vehicle over, you would have seen the same thing where the elite would have gotten tumbled out of his vehicle, fired at you as he ran back to his vehicle, and then tried to hop back in it and use it against you. None of that stuff is scripted or pre-planned. It's all just how the AI knows how to use the environment, how to use the tools that they have against you.
This is a great example of an outdoor battle. It ranges across an entire canyon floor. It's a giant terrain, plenty of vehicles, lots of guys. All in the same area, part of the same giant battle.
Yeah, this is another one of the human vehicles. This is the Scorpion tank, which is giant badass tank that we're using to just punish little grunts. We're gonna
That right there is what Halo is all about. It's all about using a giant tank to pound one tiny little grunt and throw him through the air.
One thing you didn't see there is the giant turret also has a machine gun on it, so you can be safely cozied in your tank, and while you're waiting for the next round of the master shell to reload, to fire off some machine gun rounds and provide some additional covering fire.
And what you see right there is you're driving a tank inside of a huge structure, and it's a massive, epic undertaking, and that's really Halo.
Sir, just folded in inside our formation.